AZ build 3433 here once again. And this is my BigDaddy Survival Stove. Actually now it has its own pot stand. That's exactly what you saw in the pictures up front. And right now I'm doing, it's not really a boil test, but I'm actually on this bigger pot. I have about a little more than a half a gallon of water in there right now. It's at the boil time. We're at about 25 minutes when it started boiling pretty well. And today it's about 45 degrees out here in the garage while I'm doing this little test here. Yesterday when I did this test, it took me about 18 minutes and the ambient temperature was about 70 degrees here in the garage yesterday. So there's going to be a little bit of factor as far as the temperature of the air and everything else. So I want to go ahead and, before I use up too much of it, because I want to do another test with another pot, I'm going to take the lid off of this one here and I'm going to try to lift up the camera and let you see it's boiling in here. This is about enough water here to do pasta. So let me see if I can pick this up without disturbing it too much and let you see down inside here. I'm going to have to turn a little bit so let me see if I get a fairly good picture of this down inside there. Yeah, I think you can see that. It's a little difficult using the tripod at the same time. So we see it boiling on the inside, and I'm going to put the tripod back down again. Try not to make you seasick too much here. Yeah, try to put it back down in the same spot. That's pretty close. And what I'm going to do is now I'm going to take this, so I'm going to stop the camera right here and I'm going to put another pot on while I still have this stove going. It's a smaller pot with about 4 cups of water in it. That would be something you might do for rice. So I'm going to get back in just a minute. I'm going to take this off and get the other one set up. Okay, YouTube, we're back. We're a little over the 8-minute mark. It's already boiling. I just wanted to get this boiling before I turn it back on again, turn the camera back on again. So we are already boiling. I'm going to take the top off of this one too. And you got to excuse my lousy camera work here. I'm going to try and pick the tripod back up again and see if I can't let you see it boiling. Yeah, it's doing pretty good. It's a rolling boil right now. I got to turn my viewfinder over a little bit. I'm going to pick her up and see if I can't get a decent picture of this. I got to kind of get out of the way of all the, there we go. Yeah, that's a pretty good picture on my viewfinder. It's okay. I'm going to put it back down again. Don't get seasick. Okay. So with about 8 minutes on that. I'll let her put her back down again. Sorry about that. That's really kind of a lousy camera work. Anyway, what I'm going to do, I got one more pot I want to put on, so I'm going to take this one off while I'm still got this one going, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, YouTube, I'm back. This is actually my grease pot. I have actually in this pot I have 6 cups of water, and we're pretty close to a rolling boil. It's been close to boiling since about the 9.5-minute mark. It was hot enough for coffee, which is really my intentions on this particular experiment right here with this pot. That you would use this for some method that you had, that you had to make coffee or tea or whatever. And it was hot enough at the 9.5-minute mark, but I thought I would let it run out until I got a rolling boil, and I'm listening to it right now and it sounds like I'm pretty close to that. And we're at the 12-minute plus mark. And so what I'll do is I'll pick up the camera again and let you take a look at the results of what we have with this particular pot and this setup. And this is actually the first time I've done it with this pot, with this stove, and it turned out pretty good. I mean, it fits that pot stand pretty darn good. And we're doing all right. So let me pick this up real quick again. And again, I will apologize for any seasickness you may get, and I have to kind of take it over to the side here and look inside the viewfinder here so I can see what's going on here. But you can see it's boiling pretty good, and my intention is to get over this is going to be coffee. This is more than hot enough for coffee. Again, we have 6 cups now. In the last experiment with the smaller pot, I think I had said previously that I put 4. Let me put this down real gently so I don't get everybody sick. I I have 4 cups in there, and that would be for something like rice. And that would be more than enough for 4 cups of rice, which is normally something that you would do for a family. My wife and I only usually make 2 cups of rice when we have rice with some kind of meat or something like that. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this thing all cooled down. I want to come back and explain some of the idiosyncrasies and talk about this a little bit further. So I'll be back in a few minutes. YouTube, I'm back. One thing I would say about this particular stove, if I were to do it over again, I saw that when I tried to put the pans that I had the pots with the water in, the water itself compensates for the handle, as far as, especially the little saucepan that I did the, I think it was 4 cups of water for rice. The water compensates for the size of the handle, but when you use a frying pan, that's not going to be the case unless you put your meat or whatever, eggs or whatever you're going to put in first. So to that point, I would probably, this extension out here that comes out horizontally here, I would probably make that a little bit longer. This first bend here was 1 inch, and I think it was 1.5 inches here for the 45-degree angle. But this horizontal part, I would probably make maybe at least a 1/2 inch longer to bring the diameter out a little bit further and give a little stability for a frying pan. Although you could probably use a frying pan, you could probably, you know, manipulate it to be able to use it. So now, I put other videos out. I think even when I did this one here for the original BigDaddy, I said that this should actually be, this alcohol type stove should actually be a backup. It should be actually a backup to any kind of stove that may utilize this type of propane cylinder. This is the big one that Coleman stoves use, propane. Or the smaller, like the pocket rocket style or something like that, use the canisters. These are the kind of ones that should be your primary, other than maybe, you know, charcoal or something like that. If you have a charcoal or gas grill or something like that, those should be kind of your primary. But this should be backup. I think it uses real well. I wanted to show you, but I actually got the remote. I had this remote that I was using. I had it filled up to about 7 ounces. It wasn't completely full. All those tests that I did with the big pot, the saucepan, and then the Walmart grease pot, that only took about 5 ounces to do all of those, get all of that water to a boil on all 3 of those. So that worked out pretty well. So I think this worked out very nicely. It's very stable as far as the pots and everything that I can put on here. Now, what I was thinking about doing, now I need a new saw blade. I've actually pretty much hitting my bottles there. I've actually worn out the blade that's in my miter saw, so I'm going to actually need a new blade. But I want to take, this is the original bottle that I used to make this, both the bottom portion, which is actually becomes a burner, and then the 1.5 inch portion that I made for the stand itself. This is the actual bottle I used. What I really would like to do now to make kind of like a simmer ring would be to cut it off at the neck right here, and then also right at the curvature here meets the horizontal or the linear portion of the bottle, just so I'm not quite there. So if I take this and put it down on top of here, it just kind of slides inside the original part, and then have it as a simmer ring. So if I get get some new blades, I'll probably go ahead and do that. I think that pretty much says it all. I did see a video this morning from, I think it was Lion's Den. I'm sure he watches some of my videos once in a while. He did a very nice video on gun control. What I think this whole thing with the BigDaddy, and this is actually what I call a survival stove because of its size. It's not a backpacking stove. What I've actually tried to do is reach out to some of the people who are actually preppers. And because a lot of them that you see, they think they're utilizing penny stoves to be kind of a backup for some of their other type of stoves that they might have. And I don't think the penny stove is going to actually do the trick for them. Something like this would do the trick, or at least help them do the trick. But in context with that, I saw the gun control video that Lion's Den did. I would tell Lion's Den, if he's going to see this video, go to Staten Island Prepper. That's all one word, Staten Island Prepper. He did a very, very good video just the last couple days here on gun control. and you know, his views on it, which are very similar to Lion's Den in a way. And he has some really great statistical and also some very interesting demonstrations on there, you know, about the, you know, the size of magazines and stuff like that. I think you would find very interesting. Anybody would find very interesting. So I'm kind of a half-assed prepper myself. I try to make sure, especially out here in Arizona, that I have plenty of water, and I do have, you know, some food supply that would, in case of some kind of an emergency, and I'm not talking about, you know, end of the world, you know, catalytic zombie, you know, thing going on, but something like that was just kind of an emergency or something like due to weather or whatever. And I'm a prepper in that respect. I don't go hog wild on it, but I try to keep myself prepared. And to that end, that's why I have, you know, I have a lot of this. I use it when I go camping, but I also keep a lot of them here just in case I do have that situation come up. So anyway, anybody has any comments or questions, I appreciate you know, you watching these videos and everything else, and to my subscribers that I do have, and I've had some new ones here just recently. I appreciate that. Until next time, thanks for watching, and thanks again. Take care.